Well, good afternoon, everyone, on the 8th of January, day 2 of this 30-day challenge. Now, I definitely got challenged to start this recording because Facebook didn't seem to want to cooperate in going live, so I've decided to record it on Zoom, and we'll build on it from there. So today's information is sharing what that young athlete achieved, what the young athlete's journey was all about pre the race, and understanding what was actually happening for visualization, the chatter, the third eye perception, everything that is relevant to all of us today. And by that I mean, we are spiritual beings and we live in a body. We may not necessarily be a body. So when this chatter was all happening for me as this young child, I was very, very careful not to say anything to anybody because I knew it was happening in my head. Nobody else was witnessing or saying anything about, oh, this little voice was saying blah, 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 and something else happened up here. I was very careful not to say too much to anybody for fear that I may have been sent to the loopy bin. Now, you know, as that young child, you just don't know what's going on. All I knew is that the image that was implanted in my mind was so strong. I knew I was going to win a gold medal. Now, I kept it to myself, but inside there was a lot of chatter happening all the time. And can I do this? Will I do this? Should I do this? Am I happy to do this? Questions all around challenging myself. So as per what the journey was of bringing the book A Vision to Win together, I structured it in such a way that I gave pearls of wisdom so that as each chapter unfolded, there were concepts about what I was thinking, what magic spirit was saying to me, third eye perception, intuition, what I was saying to myself. So I want to move into those areas today, just so that you can get an appreciation that when I reference third eye, when I reference expression of voice, you'll understand where I'm coming from. So first of all, we'll work with what is magic spirit. Well, like I just said before, we are spiritual beings. That spiritual being is what makes the essence of who we are. It's connected to our heart. It's also in connection with how we see things happening for ourselves, what the voice is saying to us. Being a spiritual being, we have a knowing, we have an intuition of understanding that is this the right thing that I can be doing. It's the inner ability to listen to self. It's the inner ability to understand that that mind chatter is saying, this is not right for you, I wouldn't be doing that. Or, wow, that could be a good idea. Let's go and do that. Let's look into that a little bit further. Now, we all go through that because we all have the negative. And we have the negative chatter that actually, oh, you're not really going to be able to do that. You know, that's not you. When in fact, that's the part of us that we really want to release. Now, a little trick I learned in my adult years was that whenever a negative chatter comes up and it doesn't serve you, it doesn't move you forward, I want you to say the word cancel. Now, in saying the word cancel, be very, very careful. Because once you've said the word cancel to get rid of the negative chatter that you no longer want to serve you in your life because it's not of any benefit to you, your brain will do things inside that'll shift and tweak neurons and everything that occurs inside. I'm not fully up with all of that stuff. All I know is it works. Because you will never remember that item again. Now, I learned this through reading the book Psycho-Cybernetics. A very interesting book. And in saying the word cancel, it allows the pathways to move to different areas and hook to another spot. And then you start seeing different end results of where you were. And you may never have that negative comment, thought, process come through your head again. Now, it works on the flip side, that if you have a positive and you say cancel, I guarantee you it's gone. I have tested this definitely. I had a girlfriend of 40 years say something to me and I said, oh, I'm going to test this theory, and I cannot remember what it was. So be very, very careful what you say to your mind, what you listen that is happening up there. Now, that's taken me a little off track, but it's all relevant. Another word to use when a negative chatter is inside is to actually also say the word release. And we're feeling anxiety, we're feeling tension, we're feeling discomfort. Now, this has worked for me tenfold, particularly with where I've been in the last 12 months. Release, 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 release. And you keep saying that word over and over and over again until you get to a place where you actually feel peaceful. It's a good indication to say that it has been released. So that gets rid of our negative chatter, the negative comments. What is the next thing that you can do to move you forward to understand what your mind chatter is actually saying to you? And that is, and I'll probably come back to this several times, what is the next thing that I can do to move me towards that end goal, to move me towards that end result, to move me towards finishing this task? It's the way in which I've got through doing everything that I've ever done in my life. Subconsciously didn't know that I was saying that, but when I became conscious of it, wow, lots of things changed. Because when we challenge our mind, we actually get a little answer, be it in something will happen, something will be in front of you, piece of paper will just mysteriously appear, and you'll say, oh, that's what I've been looking for. Because you're guided in such a way that you will find that end result. So magic spirit comes to us in several different forms, and it's all interconnected. Higher self can be known as spiritual self, inner guidance. How you determine that is your decision, because no one word identification can fit everybody. It's how we all interpret it. And you'll also know internally when it's a right fit, because you'll feel good about it. You'll actually know that it's the right thing to do, and everything will seem like it's in flow. Now, I speak of this from my own experiences. Everybody's going to witness something different along the line. But in connection to that, we have heart space. Heart is as we feel in our heart. Does this feel right? Will this be the best thing to do? All of those elements of questions that you go through. Know what I do is right for me. And if you get well, then you're not necessarily in heart space, and you're not necessarily on path in flow. Now that can change because different things and circumstances challenge you at that point in time to step over whatever that might be. And within heart space, from my experience, what I've witnessed is the intuition. Intuitively, I feel good here. Okay, what's being set up here is in alignment to what I actually feel right, feel good about. Now, all of these little areas all interconnect in some way, shape, or form. Because from the heart space and you knowing, feeling it's good, you can work towards intuition. So intuition is about that inner voice. It's also connected with the magic spirit. It all intertwines together. It has its own conversation with you. Will I? Should I? Could I? Is this the right? How can I? Where can I? Who can I? It's all intuitively questions that we ask ourselves, but we've got to listen for the answer. Because it's also a great indication when we feel off path, when we feel out of sync with what we're doing. And if you push past that, sometimes it's not necessarily the most comfortable or the best outcome. And it's easy to get off path so quickly because it's a shiny object. But when you come back to heart, when you come back to what your intuition is saying, when you come back and you listen to what that voice is, you will know when you're on flow, in flow. If you add to this third eye perception, third eye, everything that you see occurring inside your mind, the perception of what you think it could be until you know the exact facts of what it is. It's your perception, what you believe it could be. Now, this is a very key area of your imagination. It can also be referred to from your visualization because it's through your third eye that you visualize something. Close your eyes at this moment and think of a striped cat. If you know what a striped cat looks like, skinny lines, fat lines, wiggly lines, you can have any imagination of any format of what a striped cat is. There's your imagination working. There's your visualization also coming through. We all have a knowing that we know what traffic lights are. We don't have to visualize traffic lights because we've been taught what a traffic light is. And when we know what it is, we can visualize it so much clearer. So when you are looking for the futuristic aspect of you, of where you want to be, look at the things that you've already know and that are actually relevant to you, that you can put into your future you and get an indication of what that result is. This is part of what my understanding of visualization is. And this is how the relevance of traffic lights helped me to win my race before the race was even run. Now, I'll actually find some traffic lights and we'll watch them on the camera, and I'll share the actual story of what actually happened. So, visualization is true for you. Nobody else can take that visualization, that chatter, that heartfelt from that end goal. That's the key factor. It's like, let's use that. We're going over the bridge. We can see there's a point over the bridge. So that in itself is an indication of that's where the future you is, over the other side of the bridge. You put an image there. Everything is, from visualization, is worked off images. And when that image is in the third eye, the imagination, the visualization, you can then put it into that spot over the bridge. And then focus on that every day in some way, shape, or form. The reason I say this with conviction is because I've studied the book Think and Grow Rich. And science is improving to understand how the mind is actually working. It has come tenfold. But Napoleon Hill from 1937 said, whatever the mind can conceive, it can achieve. Think about that. I have this visualization. I have this feeling that it's good. I have this projection that I want it. See it, look at it, and move over the bridge step by step by step to the point of where it is for you to achieve. How you express everything around what this end goal is, what this visualization is, and you express it through your voice, is a reflection of the thoughts, the feelings, and everything that you will achieve or don't achieve. If the voice says it in a negative framework, then the chances are the negative result. Now, I say this because a little story that came up for me was that the coach was just watching me, do a couple of little sprints and hops and steps and things down the 100-meter straight. And I didn't know that he was coming up behind me on this particular day because I wasn't interested. I was only half-hearted doing it. And his words were, how bad do you really want that gold medal? And I remember turning around in surprise and thinking, oh, I do want it. Oh, that's no harm, Yep, you might get it. How bad do you really want it? Oh, well, I'd like to really get it. How bad do you really want it? The conviction of him repeating the question to me at that young age taught me a big lesson. And probably it was the lesson of determination that was added to it. Because what Tabby Hender shared with me at that point in time was, how badly do I really want it? And then I had to say it, that I want it real bad. So I had to really get my own conviction in my voice. How bad do I want it? I really want it. How bad do I want to win that gold medal? I want the gold medal. And I can remember doing 25, 50 yards, just consistent walking. How bad do you really want it? I want it really bad. I really, really want it. How bad do you really want it? And I had to repeat him out like as if I was in the army. But it had a flip effect on me that had my determination change for me to be able to go out and win. And some other exercises that hopefully will come through a little bit later on. So how you use your words is a huge indication of what your end result is. It must align here, and align with your heart. So as we bring this in for a closure, there's two more little areas I want to share with you. And one is the need to be grounded, the need to understand what grounding is, the need to know that when you stand congruent with what your end result is, the grounding of that has to be foremost right through the whole of your body. So the next time you're outside, take your shoes and socks off and go and really get yourself connected to earth. Really earth yourself with earth. Plant yourself into earth in a way that you feel grounded with earth. Keep your body upright is probably the best way to do this. And in that moment, breathe in through the nose and out through the mouth. Breathe in through the mouth and out through the nose. Focus, visualize, sense it, feel it while you're grounding yourself. The beautiful thing about being an athlete in my time was that we did a lot of running on grass. And we were forever just standing on the grass, not realizing as that young child what the impact of that was. And it's something that I learned very, very long ago, that I felt really good when I was grounded. Now, as I said yesterday, life pulls you, shifts you, tweaks you, does a lot of things in different aspects throughout your life. I'm hoping that in another week, during this 30 days, I'm going to go to the beach and I'm going to show you a grounding that I also have done during my years that I use with the waves. So stay tuned for that. When you're grounded, you can be in flow. You can get the sense of the alignment with everything. It's also a connection to your higher self. It opens your visualization because you do a couple of deep breaths, as I said before, in nose, out mouth, in mouth, out nose, and that takes a bit of concentration. But it actually activates your visualization muscle, awareness, third eye. And it gets the brain to really connect to your outcomes. Bare feet on green grass, and it's plush green grass. It's beautiful feeling. Now, finally, like I said in the beginning, we are spiritual beings and we live in our body. We are not necessarily the body. The body is a vehicle holding us all together. The body is the means to carry us through. The mind is spiritual. It's giving us messages every day. Sometimes you really have to listen to what that message is and have it sit congruently with you for that end result. I want to bring everything into close now because I want to share a small snippet out of my book where I draw reference to Deepak Chopra. From his book called The Fire in the Heart. Energy vibrates everywhere in the universe. Spirituality is about a new way of seeing and a new way of being. There is an invisible something to be discovered inside all of us. It's a mysterious force holding things together and making patterns out of the clouds of energy. Deepak Chopra was a big influence on bringing that book together to find my magic spirit connection. It also allowed me to realize the genius aspect of me that has brought that book into a way that I have a conversation in a speech bubble and I'm talking to spirit. And I'll share that with you on the days. So we'll close with, you were born with a vision to win. That vision inside of you is aiming to get out. What you see on the inside is a result for what is for you on the outside. I'm Janice Mira from I Believe I Achieve, and I look forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Thank you.